Ballet.
Ballet.
Maybe we can warm up a little.
Finally, we'll get to do the epaulement.
Okay.
I think we are streaming live on YouTube as well.
Nice.
Should I do some intros then, or
Yeah.
get started? Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bharatanatyam and Ballet. I think this is class 23 now, so we've been here for quite some time. For those of you who are just starting, this is a technique class. So we do half an hour of Bharatanatyam and half an hour of ballet. If this is your first class, we'd recommend that you go look at some of our previous videos. We've broken down some of the things that we're doing now more in depth. And yeah, if you have any questions about this particular video, anything that we are reviewing, please go to the past videos. I think we can get started with instructor intros then. So I'm Anita, and I'm one of the Bharatanatyam instructors.
I'm Anjali. I'm also one of the Bharatanatyam instructors.
I'm Jackie. I'm one of the ballet instructors, and I use the pronoun she, her.
And I'm Kristen, and I'm also one of the ballet instructors, and I use the pronoun she, her.
And we also have Shruti, who is one of our Bharatanatyam instructors, and she's also teaches, just not in class today. So.
Okay, I guess we'll go ahead and get started with ballet. We are okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, I will go ahead and we'll get Jackie on the screen here.
Jackie and I are super excited. We're going to go over some shouldering today. Epaulement. I think Jackie pronounces that better than I do.
I think we should maybe start with it just because then we can add it into everything. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. So Kristen, pop in as I start explaining and add. So epaulement is a very subtle movement, and it's kind of what makes it, for me, I really like it because it makes me feel more like I'm dancing, and it makes you have much more of a presence on stage or when you're just dancing in class. And so epaulement, I believe, just means shoulders or placement of the shoulders maybe, but it's the placement of your shoulders. And it's a really subtle movement, so I hope you can kind of see it with what I'm wearing today, I hope. And so it's really, your shoulders are just sort of following your head, I think is the best way to think of it. But what's really important when you do it is that you're not like over exaggerating your epaulement. You still should have the proper alignment where your core is engaged, your shoulders are kind of over your hips over your knees are over your toes, your pelvis is flat, chest is lifted. All of that should still stay in place. It's just this very subtle movement of your shoulders. So I'll just kind of show, so if I were to bring my arms like this is just sort of regular. With epaulement, it's just this slight difference. So without, with. So it's really slight. And I like to think of it like your shoulders are following your head. Kristen, do you have anything you want to add?
My teacher described it as, he kind of talked about like peaking a lot. So in that position where one arm's up and one arm's in second, like you're peaking around that arm. And so it's almost more of like it is a change in the body, but it's a change in the body because of an emotion, which I think is why it adds so much like artistry to what we're doing. It kind of changes these exercises from being very robotic, which they have to at the beginning to establish that like alignment of the body, to now adding in that extra level of like emotion and art. Yeah.
So I think that was a really good addition. Thanks, Kristen. I think one way we can kind of practice it all together is if we just, because like I watched it, I don't remember learning epaulement. it was always a part of ballet, but I don't remember a specific way of learning it. So I kind of did a little Google search, and this is how they taught it. So I think it's a good way, though, is if we just kind of, everyone can take a couple minutes of just sort of practicing, like turning your gaze somewhere and then slightly turning your shoulders to match. So like I'm going to look over here and then my shoulders follow. But what's really important is as I'm looking up here, my shoulders follow. Like I'm not, none of this is happening. Everything's still in alignment. It's just this slight movement. So everyone just kind of play with that for a little bit.
It's all about just the upper torso, like just the shoulders. Like Jackie was saying, like your bottom never tucks out while you're doing this, which I think especially for beginner dancers can be a really common thing to like do when we're doing this shouldering, but it's all just like the upper.
Can I ask a question?
So if you can wait
Yeah.
just a little bit.
So
Sorry.
no, it's okay.
Aaron's getting Hazel some dinner right now.
So are you turning your shoulders in that direction slightly, or like twisting it up, or is it more with
It's a little twist.
a little pull?
Yeah, I think of it almost as, it's like if I took my torso and broke it in half, the movement is just the top half. So it's almost like starting from like the base of your shoulder blades almost is where I think of it. So it is a twist depending on which way you're looking, right? It's a slight twist. It might be a slight, like if you were like bringing your arm up, it might be just kind of straight up, but it's just from like here up. Does that help?
Answer?
A little bit. I can practice that.
Yeah. And I think as we go through our exercises today, we can kind of give ideas on like places where the shouldering can be added, and that'll probably clarify a bit.
So I think with that, that's a good transition. I think we can just do our regular plie exercise and think about adding that epaulement into it. I apologize, my lighting's a little dark today, but so we'll do our basic where we're doing demi-plie, grand plie, and we'll do that in first, second, fourth, and fifth position. But when you're doing this, then you can start thinking about as your head is following your hand, right? When you're doing your plies, that whole combination. So then your shoulders should also be following. So as you're allongé, before you do your first demi-plie, your shoulders also tip just very slightly to follow. So it's just that versus what we used to do, which was just this. There's a little extra movement. So before, with epaulement, it's really subtle. And so then as you're coming down, you kind of bring your shoulders back in. And then as you're bringing it forward, I bring my, without epaulement would be like this. With epaulement, there's a little bit of a curve. And then as you bring it open, again, you're without epaulement, with epaulement. So there's just these slight extensions in that shoulder. It's really important that they're really small. If you get too big, you'll lose your balance, you'll lose your alignment. So, and you can, you know, give yourself injuries if you're not in alignment. So it's really important that you make it small, but also, you know, have fun, play with it, play with your body. It should make you feel more like you're dancing. So we'll do the demi-plie with the shoulders kind of following as you do it, grand plie, and we'll do that exercise on the right and on the left.
I'll add really quick. I also feel like my instructor never, there was a point in like ballet too at the end of the year that he intentionally introduced epaulement and like told us to add these different like shouldering things into parts of the ballet bar. But long before that, when he was telling us kind of like those stories that I've talked about before, like that's what creates the intention behind the epaulement. So he would say things like peek at yourself and pretend like there's a mirror in the palm of your hand and you're peeking at it, like you're trying to look at yourself. And then as you allonge, you're like looking past your hand at like your lover, your greatest desire, or something like that. Or as you allonge in preparatory, you're like checking out the beautiful rings on your fingers. So he almost made like, I think like a level of maybe like vainness to ballet, which I think the little I know about the history of ballet seems to make sense, in that like it came from the courts and it came from this like decadent, wealthy culture. Yeah, so if that's helpful for adding like the intention and emotion behind kind of like that shoulder placement.
Yeah, I agree. I also had heard one, I've heard a lot of the ones you heard, Kristen, and another one in a piece I had done where a lot of it was kind of diagonal on the stage. It was like pretend there's a cute, like this handsome man in the wings of the front and you're flirting with him. So it was like the shoulder kind of coyness. So there's that in it too. So it really is what helps make ballet seem less, you know, technique and robots, and it makes it much more fun and playful and also a little snobbish, but it's very fun. So I hope you guys kind of play with it and have a lot of fun with it today, and just know like there's no judgment. Feel free to explore. It's okay if you go too big, just be careful, and you'll find that subtlety hopefully over time.
And that flirtatiousness like totally goes along with the idea of this being a court dance originally, where there was flirtation and, I don't know, matchmaking. And it's like so relevant to now too, right? Because we still flirt.
Okay, can you guys see me well? I like this. Okay.
You could probably come a little closer if you wanted, but I think actually, okay. Yeah, either way.
I have new furniture in the room and it's messing with my view. All right, let's do our plies. 1, 2, 3, 4, allonge, 5, 6, 7, 8, demi, 1, 2, 3, 4, demi, 5, 6, 7, 8, grand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, tendu second, demi, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, tendu fourth, demi, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, grand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, tendu fifth, demi, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, tendu first, allonge, and close. Any questions or comments before we move to the other side? Okay, left side. 1, 2, 3, 4, allonge, 5, 6, 7, 8, demi, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, grand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, tendu second, demi, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, grand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, tendu, 4th, demi, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, grand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, tendu, 5th, demi, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, tendu first, allongé, and close.
Nice. Should we do a combination of tendus then?
Sure.
So tendu was a direct place that my instructor added in epaulement. Especially as we tendu to the front, there was like a slight extension of our upper back. Yeah. And then to the side, I don't know, what did you add for the side, Jackie? I don't think we added anything for the side. And then for the back, we've talked previously about like peeking into that like mirror in your hand. And I think that just drives the shoulder placement. What would you say?
Yep. So it's just the difference between looking and that. It's really subtle.
And like a slight little tilt forward.
Mm-hmm. But if you notice, my shoulders are still above my hips are still above my knee is still above my ankle.
Yeah.
It's just ever so slight. Okay, combination. Do we want to do it from fifth or from first, Kristen?
What if we just go from first, just so everyone can concentrate on the shouldering a little bit more?
That's what I'm thinking. So I think we'll just do something really simple. So we're gonna do tendu 1, 2, 3, 4 in 5, 6, 7, 8. Tendu 1, 2, 3, 4. Battement tendu jeté 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we'll do that to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4 in 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to the back. 1, 2, 3, 4 in 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So do that, and then just thinking about as you're going to the front, kind of opening your shoulders. It's a slight twist towards the audience, so towards your leg, and a slight arch almost. Not this, but it's just a slight lift and twist. And in the back, it's a slight peek down, so it kind of comes forward just ever so slightly. So just kind of play with that. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, allongé, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4 in 5, 6, 7, 8. Fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dégagé. 5, 6, 7. Side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dégagé. 5, 6. To the back. 1, 2, 3, 4. In 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dégagé. 5, 6. To the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Allongé and breathe. other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, allongé, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Allongé and breathe.
I was thinking, what if we go with a bit of a curveball today and do the third Vaganova port de bras? Because it has that back extension, so we can practice. That was the second one. I know there's so
Okay.
we've never done the third one before. And it has,
Okay.
it's the first one, but you dip forward and then you go backwards. And so we can work on moving just like that upper back as opposed to the whole thing.
Okay. You'll have to walk me through it.
Yeah. Sorry, I just talking about using the upper back. I was like, oh my gosh, we should do that one today. Maybe you were thinking the same thing?
I was thinking we should do port de bras.
Yeah, it's been so long since we've done port de bras. I wonder, would it be helpful to do the first one? Because the first and third are so similar. So would it be helpful to do a review of the first, or should we just go right into the third?
I think since we haven't done it in a while, a review of the first might be good.
Sounds good. So the first, for any port de bras, we can take our typical preparation where we do the allongé up to first, out through second. And then, should we do it in croisé, I suppose, in fifth croisé, so we can follow that right hand, and then we can do on the left as well. So
just really quick, to get to croisé, everyone, you put your right foot in front in fifth position, and you turn like 45 degrees. So it's like the corner of your box.
Yeah. Someday we should do a comprehensive review on all of those as well. Okay. So we do our preparation, allongé, first, second. You follow your right hand the entire time with your eyes, which also means with your head. And now we've added with your shoulders. So you're going to take that breath as you allongé. You're going to bring your arms down to first position. You're going to roll your head as they come up, preparatory, and then up into first. And then they're going to come up into third, still following that right hand. And then your arms go out into second. And then we finish with an allongé. Close. Would it feel comfortable if we add in the elements of the third port de bras now, or would that feel like too much?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. So the third is very similar. We take our same preparation, our allongé, first, second. We take our breath again as we allongé, following the right hand still. This time, as the hand comes down, we also lower at the waist. So we lower at the waist and our arms go down, they close, pointed at the floor, but they're, I guess, technically in first instead of preparatory. Don't go down any further than that's comfortable. What we want is the back to be as straight as possible with the shoulders still pulled back and down. And then from there, we're gonna rise up into third. But yeah, arms and body comes up as well. And here we'll take a little breath where the palms kind of like face forward a tiny bit. Is that familiar to what you've done before too, Jackie? It's like,
I can't see your hand.
allongé, but the palms kind of face forward a tiny bit.
Am I doing it right?
It was like just a motion with the hands. We took a little breath, and then from there, we tipped backwards only from that top of the back space that we were talking about earlier in the lesson. So what's so natural to do here is want to get as much extension as possible. And then we take that extension from the lower back. We don't want to do that. One, because I think the main reason is because it can hurt your lower back. And I think a lot of choreographers and artists just think that it creates like a more beautiful line when the body is challenged more and only taking that extension from the top of the back. Then our hands are up in third, we're extended. And then as we come up, we bring our arms around the world into second position. And then from there, we can allongé close. And then we can do it all over again. So that's the third Vaganova port de bras. What areas felt confusing? I love that you're both coming up to the screen.
You're like, all of them.
Was not expecting that. For me, it was probably when the hands are above the head. There was a little bit of balance.
Like it was hard to maintain your balance.
Yeah.
Let's take out the breath for now. As I was going through that, I was like, this feels like too much. So let's not do the breath for now. Do you mean when your back was arched?
Yeah.
It was hard to stay balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Only go as far as feels comfortable. It really is a very small movement, as everything I think in ballet is when we're first starting.
And then from that position, how do you come back to second?
As your torso is coming back up, remember how we talked about when you take your arms from third to second, it's as if they're like coming around a globe.
Yeah.
You're considering that same sensation as you come up, the arms are tracing around a globe.
Okay.
So you're only back for the top portion? Like, or how, so it's just you go back and then you keep tracing after that?
Yes, so you fully extend with your arms in third, and then as you come back up, they lower into second.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Okay.
And something to help with the balance as you go back, first of all, when you're looking towards the audience, so towards the front, like your corner, but also look up. That helps with balance. If you look at the floor, you're gonna fall on the floor. And then the other thing I think about, and with really any epaulement, but especially when you're moving back, it's like you're lifting up. Like I think I'm almost like, I try to think of like lifting my rib cage like off of my body almost. I don't know how to explain it, but I think of like trying to separate my rib cage and like bend. So I just really think of like lifting, don't stick your ribs out, but like lifting my rib cage up and then bending from there, like right here. So I just really think of lift. If you don't lift, it's really hard to not go into your low back. So you're lifting and bending from up here.
So you don't bend your lower back at all, or do you okay. It's just, you're just controlling the upper portion. Wow.
Mm-hmm. It's bend from here.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay.
I like picture like a little skeleton and like detaching and bending.
Yep. So it is it is time to switch over. Should we just go through this one time and consider this like a quick introduction today and come back to it next week?
Yeah, let's just do it once through and then we'll switch. Okay, so everyone come in quasi. We'll just do it on the right side today and know that you can also do it the left side, and it's exactly the same thing, just looking at your left hand. So we will do 1, 2, 3, 4, allongé, 5, 6, press, 7, 8. You're gonna come forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, bring it up, 5, 6, 7, 8, bring it all the way up, 1, 2, 3, 4, bend, and bring it around, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, bring it up, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up, 1, 2, 3, bend, 4, bring it around side, 5, 6, 7, 8, allongé, and breathe. Really good job. We'll just do reverence quick. So everyone step on your left, and we'll step across, curtsy, across, curtsy, and we'll bow, and bow. Really good job today, everyone. Yay.
Yeah, thank you for trying that curveball and going with that crazy port de bras. Both of you looked really nice. Or all three of you, really, I should say.
Thank you. I enjoyed that. Something fun and new for the day. My body also benefited from that. Needed a good stretch. Okay,
You might be a little sore tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions for ballet? Anything else you guys want to mention before I switch over?
No, I'm good.
All right. We will switch to Bharatanatyam then. Okay, so we'll start as usual today with Namaskaram. So we find a good middle of your room space. And remember, hands at chest level, Kataka Mukha on both hands, as we've done in our hand gestures. Talangu takadimi takatadinginatom, takadimi takajanu, takadimi takajanu, takadimi takajanu, takadimi takajanu. Takadimi takajanu, takadimi takajanu, takadimi takajanu, takadimi takajanu, ta. Okay, so we won't spend too much time on warm-up today since we have a good warm-up already, but we'll still do nutting. So we'll still walk. Same as every week, just keep those hands behind your back, maintain good posture, which you should already have warmed up, your body a little bit. And so, keep that back straight, keep those shoulders rolled down for any of the exercises we do today. And I'll start with the slower speed, and then we'll go a little bit faster, okay? Talangu takadimi takatadinginatom, takadimi takajanu, 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 takadimi takajanu. A small little reminder, a couple weeks ago, we started introducing, if you choose to walk back, there is a slight when you're going to the right side, remember, you want that toe to come up nicely, and you still want to fold that foot and place it back, but it is optional to actually turn your shoulders very, very slightly to the right. It's not full, it's not straight, maybe just a little bit to that ankle. So it's just kind of a natural sway with your body. That's something that optionally you can implement. Start implementing those things. Okay, a little bit faster. Talangu takadimi takatadinginatom takadimi takajan 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 takadimi. Perfect. All right, so we will go ahead and get started with Tattu Metadavu. So we have done a few different adavus so far. I will let Anita guide us in terms of what exercises we'll be doing today. And we might do a little bit of a review, but we will review the beats of 3, 4, 5, 7, and 9, and then we might move on to something a little bit new today. So Anita, I will let you walk us through.
Okay, sounds good. So we're gonna start with the beat of 4. So I'm just gonna have Anjali again. We're gonna just do a quick walkthrough of each of the steps since it's kind of been a while, and then just review those with the solokata. So Chatusram is our set of 4. So we're gonna start 1, beat the right foot, 2, beat the heel of the right foot, 3, beat the ball of the foot of the left foot, and then 4, put that heel down. So it'll look like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's just do that a couple times in slow and then fast and move on to 3. So talang kutik takadik takata dinginatom ta ka di mi ta ka ja nu. A bit faster. Ta ka di mi ta ka ja nu. Perfect. Okay, then we're going to do the beat of 3, which is tisram, and that is ta ki ta. So ta, you will beat your right leg. Ki, you're going to beat the ball of the foot, and then ta, you're going to put that heel down. So that will be in slow. Ta ki ta. Ta ki ta. And then ta ki ta. Ta ki ta is faster. Okay. And then we're gonna, maybe we should we do 3 and 4 again? Anjali, what do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe, I guess I'm realizing this only adds some dancing, but we can maybe do 4 of 2 more repetitions of the fast speed, since it goes by kind of quickly.
Okay, we could do that. Yeah, so 2 repetitions of the slow
Explain that
speed, and then,
Yeah.
okay, 6 of the fast, we can do that. Perfect. Yep, so let's do that where we'll do 2 reps of the first speed and then a little more of the fast one. So we'll start with 4. Talang kudaka deka takata dingina tom ta ka di mi ta ka ja nu. And then faster. Talang kutaka deka takata dingina tom ta ka di mi ta ka ja nu. Ta ka di mi ta ka ja nu. Okay, perfect. And then 3, we'll do that. So talang kutaka deka takata dingina tom ta ki ta ki ta. Then faster. Talang kutaka deka takata dingina tom ta ki ta ki ta ki ta ki ta. Good. You guys are doing well. Now we're just going to put the 2 together for Misram, which is ta ki ta ka di mi. We'll just go ahead and do that fast since you've already done it slow. So talang kutaka deka takata dingina tom ta ki ta ka di mi. 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 Good. Now we're going to go on to 5, which is our last new one per se, last new beat. Well, second to last. So 5 is ta, 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 ki, ta. So ta, Anjali is going to beat her right leg. Ka, there's no beat. And then ta, ki, ta is the same as 3. So we're going to do that a few times slow and then fast. Okay. Ta lang ku ta ka de ka ta ka ta dingina tom. A ka a ki ta. Ta ka ta ki ta. Ta ka ta ki ta. Ta ka ta ki ta. I feel like I fused the slow and the fast speed, or the faster speed together, but we can go a little bit faster for that one. Okay. Ta lang ku ta ka de ka ta ka ta dingina tom. Ta ka ta ki ta. 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 And then we're going on to our set of 9, which is our last set. Sangyirnam. So that's going to be 4 plus 5. So we'll just go directly to the fast speed for that one. Ta lang ku ta ka de ka ta ta dingina tom. Ta ka de me ta ka ta ki ta. Ta ka de me ta ka ja nu. Ta ka de me ta ka ta ki ta. Ta ka de me ta ka ja nu. Perfect. Do we have any questions from anybody?
So I do have something to add. Just an interesting little side note about this aravu. So a lot of times this aravu is used in storytelling. We use it kind of as a base for footwork, and your hands will be doing something else to depict a story. So almost these types of steps we really drill because they should become second nature. These types of beat cycles, especially takita, which is 3, takadimi, which is 4. Those two I'd say are almost arguably the most used. And therefore in the background, a lot of different storytelling tales. There'll be a lot of verses where you'll have a portion of the song that's purely storytelling with expressions, and you have a part of the song that repeats those same expressions, but you may have a section of beat, which is, your natya. So it's really important as we drill these to really get used to these beat cycles, just because sometimes they might not be the primary focus of an exercise or a dance, but we want to get used to them to the point where it almost becomes second nature to hear these beat cycles of 3, 4, 5, 7, and 9. So just a fun little side note. Anything else? Anything you have to add to that?
No.
Okay. Jackie and Kristen, do you guys want to do it one more time, or anybody on the call? Or we can move on to the next opinions.
I want to do that finally.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that a couple more times.
We can do 7 and 9 a couple more times. They go by kind of quickly, and I guess you get to combine 3, 4, and 4, 5. So
yeah. All right, let's do 7 first then. Okay, so ta lang ku ta ka de ka ta ka ta dingina tom ta ki ta 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 de ta ki ta 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 de ta ki ta 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 de. Kristen, would it help? Do you want to go at a slower speed too? Kind of break it down a bit.
For some reason today, like even my video is slow. I think my video is just slow.
Okay, got it.
Like, I am seeing myself do things later than I'm actually even doing it in life. So I think I'm getting a little confused with like the counts and doing it, but it's okay.
Do you want me to count like 1, 2, 3 this time too? Would that help, or?
Either way is fine for me.
Okay.
I'm just gonna try to ignore the weird like delay. Just do it.
yeah, maybe I guess I have 2 options. We can either do the sholukata and maybe slow it down a little bit, or we can keep the same speed but do 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we should do one of those 2.
I can slow it down a bit, and that way you can get you can get used to the solokata too, because I think that's just important to know in general and be comfortable with when to beat. So we can slow it down a bit. Okay, but let's do 7 one more time then. So talang kuta kadekata kata dingina tom ta hi ta ta ka de me ta hi ta ta ka de me ta gi ta ta ka de me ta gi ta ta ka de me. Great. We'll just take a 1 second leg break and then move on to 7. Kind of stretch. Okay. And then now for 9. Talang kuta kadeka takata dingina tom ta ka de me ta ka ta hi 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 ta. Yeah. I think something that's maybe like just fun to note, right now, the way that we are doing Tattametta, it's very, you know, like you're beating hard, you're beating and you're kind of intentionally stepping. Anjali, I don't know if you've done this before where you kind of jump to, especially for Bandam, like the tak, beat, that like you'll leap at that part, and that's kind of fun to do. So
Yeah, that is very true. And then another thing is we're kind of teaching you guys maybe the base level. There are different versions that also, instead of having your feet in Aramandi, you actually can also keep your feet in an L shape, and it's also used to move forward. So it's the same like for Takita, for example, it can be ta ki ta ki ta, and I'm slowly, if I was doing it to the side, I'd slowly be moving forward. So that's used a little bit more in storytelling. So, but the exact beats and what you're striking and your heel and your toe are exactly the same. It's just a little bit more movement and maybe a slightly different positioning. You can have your right foot in front, or you can have your left foot in front. So there are slight variations as such.
okay. I think we can move on to Pakadava or Visharadava.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. Would you like
so
to demonstrate, Anita, or do you want me to continue demonstrating?
I think I can demonstrate.
Okay.
I won't be sitting in probably as low in Aramandi today, but yay, back to dancing. So I don't know, Anjali, if you want to kind of take some description too on this. I don't know if my camera is a little bit.
Yeah, Pakadava or Visharadava is kind of the next logical step in our series of events, I will say. We're kind of progressing and we're adding on in terms of complexity. Again, we'll be doing, this is what we'll be showing you today is the first Adavu. For example, Natadavu had 8, right? We kind of have a number within each. The number can be different depending on the steps. And we'll kind of base it on how we go and which ones we introduce, but we'll just be starting with the first one today. The first one is one that you actually may commonly see in usually other, you know, if there's ever a melody of styles or something like that, this is commonly like a segment that is used. So you may have seen it before. The feet are, I won't do Sholkota at first. I'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But you'll be sitting in Aramandi. Your hands will be behind your back. You'll be starting by going to the right side. And all you're doing is you're going to be stamping twice. So you'll stamp once with your right, again with your right. Then you'll go back with your left foot, your left toe, and then you'll stamp with your right again. We'll do that very slow if you want to come back to the middle, Anita. So that was exactly 4 beats. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's almost, think of it as right, right, left toe, right. Okay. Now we'll go back to there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Your 5, 6, 7, 8 is that left toe that's behind. You're going to bring that back to right next to it. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side, left, left, right toe, left. And again, same rules apply as when we've done these type of toe taps, I'll describe it that way in Nakadevu, is when you do that, you are still sitting in Aramandi and you still want to make sure that both knees are kind of turned out to the best, to the best of your ability. Again, everybody's angles are going to be slightly different, and sit down as much as possible. But again, know your stopping point and don't, hurt yourself. And so this is kind of a movement that goes more so to the side and back. You're going to be going side to side, essentially. So again, that was kind of PC. Let's get a holistic picture of how that looks. So starting in Aramandi, we'd be going to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to the left, 5, 6, 7, 8, again to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that concludes kind of one side. Think of that as, even though we did a little bit more than 8 counts, we did actually 2 rounds of it. That was altogether, that was your right side of this first Pakaravu or Vishada Uravu. Okay, next, let's try that one more time. Again, just right side. So starting in Aramandi, you'll be going to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in the variation we are learning right now, you are now done with your right side. But you've landed in a position that's not your typical Aramandi, right? Your left toe is behind, actually your right toe is behind that left foot. So it's kind of, we need to get out of that position, right? We got to start the left side. So what we'll be doing is kind of similar to, if you've ever heard of the term in dance, kind of like a step ball change. Again, that's a little bit of I'm assuming if you've done dances with that before, we will break that down. What you're doing, and she's showing us from the back, is you're just going to roll down that right heel and step with your left foot. So one more time, come into that position, Anita. Very slowly, she's rolling that heel down and picking up that left foot and stamping. And stamping that left foot, you're now starting, you are starting the left side. You have started now your second segment, your second half of the step. Okay, so again, that right toe is behind the left foot. You need to get out of it. So the most natural thing to do is to just roll that heel down and let yourself step the side. Now take that momentum, and same thing as we did earlier, you will do left, left, right toe, left. And then you'll go back to the right, 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 left toe, right. But same thing how we did on the right side, we did 2 sets. We went back and forth and back and forth. Again, you're going to go to your left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then again to the right, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I know we did, for those who may be watching this on YouTube or in the Zoom call, I know we did a lot of back and forth, right, right, left, left. It gets a little confusing. So we'll go very, very slowly from the beginning just to kind of comprehend our sides. But think of it as you're kind of doing, it'll make a little bit more sense with the hands. I think the hands kind of help guide you as to when it's time to switch over to the other side. But kind of think of it as you kind of do 2 sets on the first side, on the right side, and 2 sets on the left side. And then that little transition of the heel rolling down is how we get from one to the other. So I'll just start and we'll go really slowly. As a background, the sholukata for this aravu is ta, te, ta, de, te, ta. If you guys have noticed so far in all of the aravus we've done so far, we start with 1 sholukata and we keep that for the remaining one. So in Nataravu, if you remembered, is te yum ta ta, te yum ta, te yum ta ta, te yum ta. So similarly in this, it's ta, te, ta, de, te, ta. Again, slowly over time, right now you might not have that in your memory, but slowly over time, you'll start to kind of recognize maybe with the beat patterns, which one goes with which, with repetition.
All right, so again, we'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'll start in Aramandi, no extra counting this time. And we'll start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're done with the right side, so we got to switch to left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again for the left side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, other than the one exception for that middle transition heel roll, all of the other times you want your heel to kind of be where that toe is nice and you have that heel nice and lifted. You know, you want to sit as much as possible, but keep that toe lifted, and you should feel that in your leg muscles. Okay, we can do that maybe one more time, and I guess we're already at 7:56, so we can maybe run through hand gestures after that. And for this Arivu, we'll finish up next week and add, maybe not finish up, but we'll add the hands. A couple different hand gestures go into this one, not just one. So coordinating that with the feet will be interesting. And we'll definitely practice it more. So we'll do this one more time with just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Dalangu takadimi takatadingi natom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Left side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great. Looks great. So yeah, I think this one kind of starts, this is also the next logical step. A lot of people teach us next in the sequence and a lot of the different variations of classical Bharatanatyam as it's kind of your first introduction to movement. So far we have done things that are not that it was pretty complex. We still included a lot of different hands. We were bending in many different directions. But if you guys remember, we didn't actually move too much. Most of our feet, we took to the side, we took forward, but our base position didn't move. So this is the first step that you just have to remember that we want to still be light on our feet, but you're still kind of, this is a very strong and powerful movement. And you want to, hit those beats when you're going side to side. I think that's all that I have to add. Anita, if you have anything to add that I may have missed, or just in general, if you want to add.
Sure. So I think just one thing to notice when you're doing this, you don't want to make your movements like too big. I guess maybe stylistically, or if you need to get somewhere quickly in transition or something, maybe that would make sense. But for right now, your movement does not need to be very big for this. You're not like trying to race across to one side. And I think that'll just make it easier to make sure that you're keeping your form and posture and everything. And I think just something to note too, if you're looking online for videos on how to do this, again, I think this is probably going to come up in all future steps that we learn too, but with different styles, there's different variations. So Anjali, Shruti, and I have each actually learned this step differently. We have different hands, probably a different number of this particular step that we've learned. So just something to keep in mind that different styles kind of vary it a bit. So I think that's all. But yeah, as Anjali said, this one I think is important because it's the first one, which is movement based. So it's just really important to, again, kind of like make sure that as you're moving, you're not sacrificing anything else with your form or Aramandi and things like that. So
I would agree that sometimes when we move side to side, it's easy to stand up a little bit or lose that Aramandi a little bit. So you just remember that it's it's a little bit awkward at first to maintain that sitting posture while you're moving, and you'll feel it a little bit differently in your muscles. But this is definitely, we obviously in Bharatanatyam, we do move a lot. So just one step in that direction. Okay. So we are right at 8 o'clock. I don't know if we have time for hand gestures today.
I think we could just do namaskaram. So
Yeah, I say we do namaskaram today, and we will review hand gestures next week since we have a base of this now. All right. Okay. Same as beginning. Katika mukha on both sides. Try to balance. Okay. Talangu takadimi takatadingi natum takadimi takajanu 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 ta. All right, great class, everybody. Let's see. Okay, now that we're all visible again, announcements for the week. I think right now this is the only class that we have, so do join us again next Wednesday. Reminder, if you have any questions and you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to place those questions in the comments, and we will try to look back at the previous week and try to include those tips and tricks in the coming weeks. And reminder, you can always go back to the first few videos, and if you ever do join us live, we're open to questions, and we can always review anything that we reviewed, even if it's a month or two back at this point. And then donations, if you're able to, please donate on SAATH's website, saathmn.org/donate. And also on their website, they also have really cool merchandise out right now. A lot of different colors, a lot of different varieties. I'm gonna check them out myself. I still have to. But Jackie has repped some different styles for us in this call over the weeks. So if you're curious on the styles, definitely come next week and she may be wearing something. Does anybody have anything else to add? Okay, well, happy